If you would get your seats, we'll begin the program. I'm Joe Browning, Senior Associate Athletic Director here at UNCW, or as Jimmy likes to call me, the oldest rat in the barn. He always says that. And I'll be serving as your host this evening. Welcome to the UNCW campus and beautiful Bernie Center. People here do a fabulous job, so I think you're going to enjoy it. We hope you enjoy what we have planned tonight. It's going to be a fun evening. And as we recognize, thank, and honor Jimmy and his family for the last 13 years. It's actually 12 and a half. We round off numbers. Are there any movie buffs out here? Any movie buffs? Everybody likes going to the movies, right? Well, as most of you know, Jimmy Kimmel hosted the Oscars a couple weeks ago. And tonight I'm your much cheaper host. As I was reflecting on Jimmy's career a little bit, we've been doing that a lot over the last 6 to 9 months. This year's Best Picture nominees came to mind. If you'll go back with me a couple weeks ago when the Oscars were on, there's Top Gun Maverick. How many people saw that movie? Terrific. Tom Cruise feature film. Of course, he was a naval pilot, had no fear. No one would ever confuse Jimmy with Tom Cruise, right, Sarah? But over the last decade, he has skillfully navigated our program through some pretty tough situations. I think everybody would agree with that. There's the film Women Talking. How many people probably want to see that in here? It was an emotional film about by director Sarah Polley. It covered the plight of women in a Mennonite community in Bolivia. The title reminded me of Jimmy during a basketball game sitting between Sarah and Tiffany. Work with me here, come on. There was Avatar: Way of the Water. James Cameron, epic film about the history of the underwater world. Did you know it cost $250 million to make that movie? Just a little bit more than our budget. And how fitting that movie was nominated this year, because we won both the men's and women's swimming diving championships for the first time since 2006. And let's not forget my personal favorite, which actually won the Oscar for Best Picture, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I can't imagine a better movie title to describe a typical sports weekend, spring sports weekend, or fall sports weekend here on campus for us. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Now, Jimmy's tenure as leading man may be ending, but Chancellor Aswani Valletti is just beginning his. And we're pleased that he's here tonight to provide some help.
Good evening. We are here to celebrate and honor a very, very special Seahawk. Congratulations, Jimmy Bass, on 12, rounding up 13 years of meaningful service to UNCW. We have a sincere appreciation from our fans, coaches, trainers, and athletic staff, and most importantly, our student athletes. More than 4,000 student athletes have gone through the program during the year, so congratulations. Thank you so much for your leadership. Jimmy and I have few similarities. Like me, Jimmy came to UNCW and ran away for a little bit, and he came back here again. We first started at UNCW in the late 1980s. I was in the 80s. As an Associate Director of Athletics and Executive Director of the Seahawk Club. He returned in 2010 as the Director of Athletics, serving the second longest tenure in this role, only behind legendary Bill Brooks. So, congratulations. And if I navigated 11 hurricanes, but he's pretty close. Between 18 years in Florida and here, he's navigated many milestones, including 11 hurricanes, COVID-19, of course, pandemic, countless committee memberships on campus, conference, and national levels, 32 CAA championships for Seahawks, We just heard the recent ones on men's and women's swimming diving, so that's fantastic. And in June 22, Jimmy was named as the Cushman and Wakefield Athletic Director of the Year in Division I AAA by the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics last June. So that is an amazing feat. So, and I've got more people coming behind me, so I want to say some comments. Jimmy, best wishes to you as you make time to spend more time with your family, friends, etc. And you and I think when you guys came for the basketball game at halftime, the last game or so, you saw a lot of us wearing our team tried to imitate Jimmy wearing the iconic sweater vest and the clicks. Readers will be missing those. But, please don't be a stranger. Come back to whether it's Trask and all the other athletic events on UNSW campus. Cheer for Seahawks, remember, always a Seahawk. So congratulations, Jimmy, and thank you for everything you've done.
When we were having our planning meetings, I'm sure Jimmy wondered, where's everybody in the office? You know, he would look around and when everybody was in a meeting and we were talking about things. We said, who wants to do the invocation? You could hear a pin drop in the room. So, but we did find somebody to take us up on to Sandy King, our Associate AD for Compliance. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Look at that. By the bar. Come on up, Sandy.
Please join me in the blessing. Dear Lord, thank you for this special day. We are excited about the opportunity to honor Jimmy and celebrate the event of his retirement. We thank you for all the ways that you have protected him and provided for his hard work and leadership through the years. May your presence be with Jimmy and his family as they choose new paths and enjoy the journey that lies ahead. May he find new adventures and new joy as he embraces his well-earned retirement years. We pray that you would make this retirement celebration a time of joyful fellowship and warm memories. Please bless this food we are about to receive and those who have gathered to make today the special occasion that it is. For all of this, we give you thanks. Amen.
As I was preparing a few remarks tonight, I thought about the last decade and the many challenges that Jimmy faced. The Chancellor mentioned a few. Numerous hurricanes, 12 to 13-ish, somewhere in there. NIL, conference expansion, the transfer portal, key coaching changes, sports wagering, facility upgrades, parking issues, COVID-19, of course. And let's not forget that week in Missoula, Montana, when that whole basketball team came down with the flu. No wonder he has gray hair. It takes a special person and family to endure these challenges. Also takes a strong support system. We reached out to some of Jimmy's friends and colleagues throughout the years to collect their thoughts on Jimmy's remarkable leadership abilities. Please direct your attention now to the screens for these wonderful tributes.
Congratulations, Jimmy. Thank you for your leadership and wonderful service spanning over a decade to this great institution as athletic director. You're leaving this place in a much stronger position than when you came in. I hope you enjoy your retirement, and remember, once a Seahawk, always a Seahawk, and good luck.
Jimmy, it's Joey D. I want to congratulate you on an incredible career in college athletics and hope that your retirement will have longevity and great health in it. I also want to thank you for all you've done for college athletics, for the CAA, and for UNCW. And most importantly, I want to thank you for all your friendship along the way. I wish you, Sarah, and your family nothing but the best.
This is Bobby Purcell from NC State. Jimmy, I'm quite honored to be a part of this video today. You've had a wonderful, wonderful career. We've been friends a long time, going back all the way to high school days when we played against each other. Consider you one of the best friends I've ever had. You've got a great reputation. You had a tremendous career, Jimmy. You've done everything right. You treated people right. I'm proud to be your friend, and I'm proud to be part of this, and to let you know that we're excited about your retirement, although I hate to see you get out of college athletics. You've done so much for college athletics. But you're going to be able to spend you and Sarah will be able to spend a lot of time with your grandchildren, play a lot of golf. So well deserved, but we're going to miss you. Love you, man. Just appreciate all you've done for me personally. Appreciate all you've done for college athletics. Go Pack.
Jimmy, congratulations on your retirement. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity and everything that you've done for me. Thank you for your friendship. I hope that you enjoy your retirement, you and Sarah and the rest of the family.
Jimmy, congratulations on your retirement, man. We've had a good run. You've done so many great things in your various stops, and particularly at Wilmington. But I wish you and Sarah all the best in your retirement. I know you've got great family plans. We're all happy for you, and it's well deserved. So go enjoy the world, buddy.
Jimmy, let me begin by congratulating you on your outstanding career as the Director of Athletics at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Secondly, I want to thank you for being such a great colleague and a terrific friend. Lastly, I wish you a very happy and healthy retirement. We both know that you earned it. Be well, my friend.
Hey, Jimmy, congratulations on your retirement. Welcome to Every Day is Saturday. You've been one of the best athletic directors in the country, and people know it, and we know it in the CAA. Congratulations again. Enjoy retirement. You and Sarah have a great time.
Hi, Jimmy. It's Micaiah Parham, president of SAC. And on behalf of all the student athletes, I just want to say thank you so much for your continued service throughout the years, and we will miss you dearly.
Hey, Jimmy, just wanted to stop and say congratulations on your upcoming retirement. You've spent 30 years, I guess, 12 years at UNCW, had a fine career. You've impacted a lot of sports administrator, coaches, student athletes in such a positive way. And finally, I'd like to offer my congratulations and wishes for happiness for you and Sarah and your family, happiness and health. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your life.
Jimmy, thank you so much for all your years of service and leadership to our athletic department. You've taken us through some challenging times and also helped us through to some tremendous successes during your entire career here. We gave you lots of championships, and thanks for everything, for supporting our staff and our student athletes throughout your tenure. And now that you're retired, I want to have good updates on your golf game.
Jimmy, Ramey Steins, on behalf of all the CAA basketball referees across the country, we want to tell you congratulations on your upcoming retirement. And personally, I would like to say thank you for your professionalism and friendship over the last 30 years and wish you nothing but continued blessings and great health as you go forward in your retirement, and enjoy playing and enjoy your time with those grandkids.
Jimmy, welcome to retirement. Congratulations. We've been friends and colleagues for over 38 years. Our families are intertwined. I've always viewed you as a consummate athletic director. Your genuine and warm personality, your dedication to the university, the compassion you've always shown for your student athletes and coaches will leave an indelible legacy on Seahawk Nation, a place you love so dearly. So as you enter retirement, we wish you and Sarah many years of health and happiness, and I look forward to seeing you again down in Wilmington, one of my favorite places on earth. Godspeed, my dear friend.
Hi, Jimmy. Congratulations on a tremendous career and a well-deserved retirement. It's been such a pleasure for me to get to know you through the NCAA Men's Golf Committee. Your incredible willingness to always step in to help any colleague in any situation, your collaborative effort and knowledge and leadership in so many situations over the last couple of years, and your willingness to just keep up morale, whether it's our 5 a.m. show-up call or 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we're all dragging from the heat. It's been wonderful. I'm a better administrator for my association with you. I thank you and I wish you and Sarah the best.
Hey, Jimmy Bass, congratulations on your upcoming retirement. Join the club, brother. All of us at NACDA are very happy for you, and after spending more than 40 years in the intercollegiate marketplace and all the phenomenal student athletes, students and administrators and donors that you positively influenced, just a great career culminated by last year's NACDA Athletics Director of the Year Award. So Jimmy, continued health, success, and if you ever stop in Cleveland, come by and say hello to another member of the club. Have a great day. Thanks again for everything. All your friends at NACDA.
Hey Jimmy, Matt Roberts. Man, we're going to miss you so much. First of all, I'm jealous and so excited for you and Sarah. Going out on top on your own terms is every one of us as administrators' dreams. But boy, we're sure going to miss you. I'm going to miss your friendship, your advice, just your presence in the room when we have our CAA Zoom meetings or in-person meetings. Man, you're a valuable part of my group of influence, and I've learned a ton from you over the years. I can't be more excited for you and Sarah as you move to Charlotte and start to adjust to lake life. Job well done, my man.
Hey Jimmy, it's Dan Spears. On behalf of me, the Star News, and the rest of the Wilmington media, we'd like to say congratulations on your great run as athletic director at UNCW and your upcoming retirement. I appreciate all of the phone calls and texts that you've taken from me and my staff and everybody throughout the years. I'm sure your text inbox is going to be a lot more quiet in a couple months, that's for sure. Enjoy the final weeks of your time at UNCW, and I hope that in the future you get to enjoy UNCW truly as a fan, like so many other people have seen it over the years. All the best, and take care.
Jimmy, throughout all our years at the CAA, John Clockerty and I gave you the nickname Mr. Consistency. Every Saturday during the season, whether the game was at Trask or on the road, whether it was a matinee game or an evening event, your text would always read the same. Ron, your Saturday officials are awful. I kind of miss those compliments. Congrats on your retirement and best wishes to yourself and Sarah.
Hey, Jimmy Bass, it's your old buddy Ben Sutton from Murfreesboro, North Carolina. Just want to thank you for your incredible contributions to the college sports industry, your many decades of service. Congratulate you on your upcoming retirement. There's so many of us that care so much about you and your family, appreciate our friendship, the working relationships we've had in this space, and just having a guy that I could count on and call on anytime I needed. So just, again, congrats, thank you, and look forward to spending some time with you together in these years to come. Take care.
Jimmy, just wanted to reach out and say congratulations on your retirement. We've spent a lot of time together over the past years, and you've done a phenomenal job as an administrator at UNC Wilmington and really everywhere you've been. And I've always admired your ability to keep your head, even in the toughest of times. But I'm really excited for both you and Sarah and what these next few years hold for you. Do me a favor, save me a spot up there on the first tee now that we're going to be living fairly close. And I look forward to spending some quality time with you guys. Good luck and congratulations.
Hello, Jimmy. Jalen here. Just want to congratulate you on a tremendous career here at UNCW. We really appreciate you and we thank you. And I hope you enjoy your retirement season. Wish you the best.
Hello from sunny Florida. This is Skip Holtz, and I thought I would take a day in at the beach because I heard April 1st it's about to get real crowded when Jimmy Bass retires. Jimmy, just want to say thank you, and what an unbelievable impact you made on my life and so many people. And your great career as an athletic director, you made a difference. And the 3 years that we had a chance to spend together at East Carolina were impactful to me. And I just, for all the people at UNCW, we're losing one of the best in the business, and we hope you peace, happiness, and your retirement as you and Sarah ride off into the sunset. So we're thinking about you. God bless you. Congratulations. You've certainly earned it. I look forward to playing some golf with you when all this gets over.
Congratulations, Pops. We are so excited for you to come to Charlotte and coach my baseball team. Coach my baseball team too. The Seahawks are strong. The Seahawks. I love you. We love you. We love you. Hey.
When I was in 5th grade, my parents told me I could invite a friend to go to the NC State Purdue basketball game. I invited Jimmy. Little did we know at the time that would be the first of hundreds, if not thousands, of games we would go to together. Our journey has been a great one. It's been filled with conference championships, bowl games, and even a national championship at NC State. It's a time that I'll never forget. We've made friends along the way from one end of the United States to the other. The friends here tonight have impacted our lives and have become family to us. Jimmy, I'm so proud of the job you've done. You've done your job with honesty, integrity, and love for the student athletes and the game. I look forward to this next chapter in our lives. I hope it is filled with happiness on the golf course, at the lake, with grandchildren, and with all our family and friends. We love you, Pops.
Sarah, you can relax now. I would reach out to Sarah about the video, and she said, yeah, I'll get you. The weeks went by, the months went by, nothing ever came in my inbox. But she finally did. I'm proud of you. Thanks for doing that. So we really appreciate all these individuals. As you can see, it's from a wide range of disciplines around the country: coaches, officials, administrators, private sector. And I think you wouldn't be here tonight if you didn't know how much Jimmy's impacted everybody. So we really appreciate them taking the time to do that. We're actually pleased and honored to have several of Jimmy's colleagues here tonight, and they're busy folks, and speaks volumes that they've been here to make the effort to be here and celebrate this milestone. So we're going to have a few speakers to entertain you. Hopefully they'll be more entertaining than I've been. Our first speaker has a reputation as one of the premier athletic administrators in the country. He joined the NC State athletic staff in 1981 as executive director of the Wolfpack Club from 1991 until his retirement in 2020. In July of 2020, he was named Special Assistant to Athletic Director Boo Corrigan. Please welcome North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame member, Bobby Purcell.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Tiffany, and thank you, Chancellor. It's really a great honor for me to be here as we celebrate one of my great friends, a man that we all love and admire. But before I start, I want you to envision something real quick. Envision Jimmy Bass at 16 years old. After you get through chuckling, I'll tell you a little bit. Jimmy and I went to rival high schools growing up. And we played against each other in football and baseball. Jimmy's team won a couple times, but they usually lost. But Jimmy was a big man on campus. Starting quarterback on the football team. He was an outstanding player, played the Shrine Bowl. Number one starting pitcher on the baseball team. He was a big man on campus, and he let you know it too. We used to call him Largemouth Bass. And that was the nickname all through high school. Then we went to NC State. We were acquainted in high school, we didn't really know each other. We went to NC State, lived in the same dorm. We got to know each other a little bit better. In 1981, I had an opportunity to join the football coaching staff at NC State. Jimmy was very instrumental in giving me that job and that opportunity. And from then on, we became best friends. I get emotional thinking about me, like a brother to me. Jimmy, as you all know, he's full of life, he's full of integrity, he's full of love. Sometimes he's full of something else. At NC State, Jimmy and I, oftentimes, if we'd be at a basketball game or a football game or a university event, the people would get us mixed up. And I've been called Jimmy many, many times. Or it didn't let the insult hurt me too bad, and usually they'd be drinking when they said that. But I asked Jimmy recently, what's his plan for retirement? He said, I got a 2-year plan, and then I'm worried about the rest, Lord. He said, in my next 2 years, I'm going to spend more time with my grandchildren, play more golf, I'm going to finish my book. I said, you're writing a book? He said, no, I'm reading a book. It's going to take you 2 years to finish a book that you're short. Sarah, you're a former school teacher. Y'all's been having trouble with some of the words. Somebody told me, an older man told me a long time ago, man, I really trust him. I talked to him. He said, if you have 5 people in your life that you can count on every day, 24/7, regardless of what you're dealing with, regardless of what you're facing, regardless of your circumstance, if you have 5 people in your life that you can depend on during those times, you're a wealthy man. And Jimmy is one of those 5 people for me. And I know he's always there, and regardless of what the situation might be, Jimmy will be there. I count on him, and I'm sleeping tonight knowing that Jimmy Bass is my friend. One of the things I really admire about Jimmy, and one of many, he's very consistent. And consistency is a very hard thing to do in life. Hard to be the same all the time. And Jimmy's the same all the time. He has a commitment to try to do things right. I've never known him to steer away from that way. He always does things right and always cares about the people that are around him. As we go through the evening, each to the person, I want to give you some advice right here. When you're in your life, you're facing a situation that you don't know what to do, or don't know what decision to make, you ask yourself, what would Pops do? And then you do it, and you'll always be right. Jerry, I love you. You're like a brother to me. I can't say enough good things about what the part you've been in my life. You've been in our wedding, in the pallbearer at my father's funeral. My father specifically asked for me to be a pallbearer at his funeral. I love you, man. I have so much respect for you. I wish nothing but the best you can say. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Our second guest served as the CAA's first commissioner, and he spent 31 years building the league into what it is today. He's also a Hall of Famer, holding membership in the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame. Tom Yeager.
First off, I'm thrilled to be here, Jimmy. Wouldn't miss it for the world. And, when Joe and Tiffany kind of asked me to get involved with the program, I'd love to do it. And I'm here to officially kind of welcome you to the 6 Saturdays and the Sunday fraternity. My wife Dorcas and I came down from Richmond and got here a little early in time for lunch and went to the dockside, sat out there on the porch, watched all the boats, had a little bit to eat and stuff. And I had a number of regrets, during my tenure, but one of them was that we could never garnish enough votes to move the conference office here. I love Wilmington, love the Seahawks. It's great to recognize so many familiar faces, staff members, athletic staff members, colleagues that I've dealt with over 40 years in college athletics. Chancellor, welcome to the CAA, welcome to university. It's a special place, it really is. I'd also say that, retired guys usually don't dress up a lot, and, I was not going to wear a tie. Hell, I usually don't wear socks, but anyway, as I was thinking here, as Joey could probably allude to it too, you have an array of different school colors in your wardrobe, because it's kind of like gang colors sometimes. If you show up in the wrong place and wrong color, you're not very welcome. So this is my Seahawk tie. I wore it at every NCAA championship event that the Seahawks were in, and dust it off and bring it out today for you, and I'll put it back, and we'll put another tie on again for a long time. But anyway, Jimmy and I have been friends since 1985, 1986. When he came down here, I'm the new commissioner of the Startup League, and Jimmy's here. We very quickly became fast friends and colleagues, and our families have been intertwined over that time period. My wife talked about when she and Sarah, our kids were 5 and 2 when we came here, much like your grandkids came, that you'd be kind of helping them out with the tournament in the stands while, we're trying to get stuff done and everything else like that. And I remember Corey running around at our baseball championship. He had had to be 4 or 5 years old or something. He had a baseball mitt that stretched from his knee to his ankle. And he was shagging foul balls, and he would pay him a dime for every foul ball or something he would bring back. It kind of went full circle, because then when my son graduated and had a desire of getting into sports marketing and fundraising, he contacted Jimmy, and Bobby and Jimmy hired him as an intern at the Wolfpack Club, and that gave him a foundation to start his career. And I know that I spoke to Kyle on the way down, and he said, Jimmy and I still talk regularly. It's 20 years ago, but demonstrates kind of the impact that Jimmy has had for so many. And then Kyle also remember, he said at one point, I guess, Corey, you were looking at something at JMU or something, and Kyle was part of that hiring process and stuff. So, our families, really are intertwined. I've always viewed Jimmy as the consummate professional, as so many people on the videos have said, both professionally and personally. In an industry where jealousy and ego run rampant, Jimmy is universally respected and has been universally respected, as evidenced by his AD of the Year award. Jim and Sarah are two of those rare types of individuals who you always feel better after you spend time with them. You always feel more, a little livelier, and they just make you, just lift your spirit and ready to go out and on. And, and a couple of the ADs here in the room can attest to this. Sarah, there's a special place in heaven for the wife of an athletic director. I tell you, you got club level seats coming your way. So much. And, in very rare instances, a university can hire a transformative leader who moves the job from merely mechanically doing their job to an environment that reflects the leader's heart, soul, and core being. Everyone that he or she touches assumes the leader's charisma the coaches, the student athletes, the student body, the community, and the university's own senior leadership. You know, UNCW has been uniquely blessed to have Jimmy Bass as its athletic program for the very public face that the athletic department plays for the university. You know, it's a reputation of professionalism, fair play, of respect, diversity, inclusion. You know, Jimmy's legacy has left an indelible mark on so many and will be his lasting tribute long into the future. You know, I have the utmost respect for Jimmy, personally and professionally, for what he's accomplished. Over my career, I've learned so much from him that has helped me become better at my job and with my interaction with folks. But Jimmy, I believe next week will be your final Monday to Friday work week. So before you hit the 6 Saturdays and Sunday calendar, you've earned the transition. Well-deserved career, my friend. Dorcas and I look forward to seeing you and Sarah and the whole clan get together, talk about the old times, talk about kids and grandkids, and you know, just enjoy each other's company forever. Godspeed, my friend, and go Seahawks.
Thank you, Tom. If I must say so, you look great in teal, a teal tie. On point there. Yes. And by the way, Corey is still shagging fly balls. He hasn't caught any, but he's still shagging. We're going to go back-to-back CA commissioners tonight. The current leader of the conference. I never really know what exactly to call him. He goes by Joe. He's got one name, Joe, Joey D, Mr. Commissioner. So, Commissioner D'Antonio. His trademark, I do know, is the TFTD. Before each meeting, he provides a thought for the day. And don't be surprised if he doesn't bring one out tonight for us. Commissioner Joe D'Antonio.
Thanks, Joe. How about a round of applause for Joe? He's doing a great job. I had a chance to bump into Jimmy earlier today at the softball game and said to me, no ties tonight. I think to myself, no ties tonight. I just went out and bought my tie for tonight. And Tom's right. We all have a certain assortment of ties. You have to navigate. Wear this color. Don't wear that color. And it's a very important part of what goes on in the world of commissioners. Chancellor, Jimmy, Sarah, Corey, Mary Ann, Easton, Preston, Tiffany, Commissioner Yeager, Dorcas, other members of the Bass family, and members of the Seahawk community. What an absolute privilege and honor to be with you here today. I cannot thank Seahawk Nation enough for asking me to be part of such a memorable event. Do you believe in fate? Do you believe that sometimes things just sequentially happen because they're meant to be? Well, I'm going to tell you a little story tonight. On Friday, March 4th, 2016, I landed at the Midway Airport in Chicago. And as I was waiting for my luggage at the baggage carousel, I received a phone call. The phone call was from the search firm to notify me that I would soon be getting a call to be offered the commissioner's job at the CAA and have the distinct honor and pleasure of following Tom. I was excited nervous, and apprehensive all at the same time. At that time, I was living just outside of Providence, Rhode Island. On Monday, March 7th, 2016, under the direction of Kevin Keats, UNCW defeated Hofstra 80-73 to win the CAA Men's Basketball Championship. But a week later, on Sunday, March 13th, 2016, Selection Sunday, as UNCW's name came up on the board, and they were selected to play Duke in the first round of the championship, where were they headed? Providence, Rhode Island. I couldn't believe it. It was like, again, if you believe in fate, it was fate. Shortly thereafter, on Wednesday, March 15th, as the UNCW contingent came into Providence, Tom was also there. I had the opportunity to have lunch with Tom. And that night, my wife Karen and I took Jimmy and Sarah to dinner at a place called Casarinos on Federal Hill. This was the first time I'd ever met Jimmy in person. And I have no doubt that fate put UNCW in Providence that night. Now, we had a great dinner. But I felt as though we had a couple of communication challenges that evening. It might be hard for you to tell, but I have just a tinge of a Boston accent. And during the night, as we were talking, I'd say something to Jimmy or ask him a question, and he wouldn't respond right away. But he'd lean over to Sarah and say, "Do you have any idea what he just said?" This went on for quite some time, but we had a great night, and we still laugh about it to this day. And I really feel as though we've been friends ever since then. Jimmy, what can I say? It's been a unique, sometimes crazy 7 years. We've seen UNCW reach the top of the CAA mountain in many sports, over 32 conference championships. We have lived through the perils of COVID-19. We've seen UNCW transform, and we've seen thousands of student athletes graduate under your leadership from UNCW. Please know that through all of this, I have deeply appreciated the opportunity to work together, to problem solve together, to collaborate on issues, to laugh together, and to talk hockey together. And I really do believe this year the Bruins are better than the Hurricanes. But most importantly, I've appreciated the opportunity to call you my friends. We didn't see eye to eye on every issue, but you know something? Close friends and colleagues seldom do. When I got this job, I had so much respect for you and all you had accomplished in your career. And over the past 7 years, that level of respect has grown even stronger. I worked really hard to earn your respect, and I only hope I was able to do so. As you and your beautiful family turn the page to the next chapter, I wish you nothing but great health and everlasting happiness. I promise I will not be a stranger, and I hope neither will you. I know if I ever need assistance, especially on any basketball officiating matter, I can always call you. I'll leave you with this, and Tom can relate to this as well. In the job as commissioner, we get asked a lot of questions. Sometimes I feel as though people think just because you're a commissioner, you have the answer to every problem known to humankind. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But one question I often get is if I'm preparing for an interview, what should I do? What should I say? My answer is always the same. When you interview for a job, you want to be able to tell the interviewer or the interview team that you are a positive difference maker. That if you get this job, you will make a positive difference, just as you've done in every facet of your life to date. Well, Jimmy, I cannot think of a bigger honor today than knowing that you have clearly made a positive difference at every stop along your journey in college athletics. You made a difference at ECU, you made a difference at Mississippi State, you made a difference at NC State, at Pittsburgh, at Davidson, and you most certainly have made a difference during your over 12 years at UNCW. Thank you for all you've done for UNCW, the CAA, and most importantly, for the thousands of student athletes whose lives your efforts have positively impacted. I wish you and your family nothing but the very best. Love you, my friends.
Thank you, Commissioner D'Antonio. I'm convinced there's not a teal tie to be found in Wilmington now. Tonight's sports speaker is a familiar face to Seahawks fans. He took over the UNCW men's basketball program during the 2014-15 season and led the Seahawks to 3 postseason appearances, including a pair of CAA tournament championships and NCAA Verse in 2016 and 2017. It's great to have you back on campus, Coach Kevin Keats.
Couple things. If you look on this, I know it says Dana Harris, and I'm not Dana Harris. So, I don't know how I'm going to do this because typically when I speak, I got to walk all over the place, as you guys know. But I'm going to try my best. 10 years ago, 2013, I got invited to what was known as Villa 7. For you guys who don't know what Villa 7 is where you take some of the top assistant coaches in the country, and they get a chance to go on and they get a chance to meet with commissioners, they get a chance to meet with athletic directors, and we kind of go through a whole deal. It's a pretty unique thing. I was fortunate. We had just came off a national championship in Louisville, and so I got invited to Villa 7. Now, Villa 7 used to be in Portland. Man, it was great. I was like, man, I am going to Portland. I'm going to have a good time. Well, I got my invite, and this time it said Minnesota. I was like, that's a problem. So, excuse me if you're from Minnesota. So I get the invite, and I'm so excited. I get the opportunity. I said, I feel like I'm a big shot. It's great. And I'm one of the top 50 assistant coaches in the country that has a chance to meet all these ADs. And then there's 35 nice young ladies that have the opportunity also. So we go through this, for some of you guys, we go through speed dating. It's interviews all day long. Everything's great. I feel like I'm knocking it out of the park. Like I'm good. We got guys like Tom David will be there, Jeff Long will be there, we got commissioners, everybody's there. It's great. Like I'm meeting all the search firms. I'm like, man, and after I have every interview, I go up to everybody and I say, do you mind if I have your car? Because I'm thinking, I'm going to work this thing. I'm going to figure out how to get a job. I'm going to get me a Division I job. I worked for Coach Patino, man, and he was on me every day. I said, I gotta get a job. So the day goes by, I don't get a chance to meet with you. I don't. As a matter of fact, to be quite honest with you, I don't know who Jimmy Bass is at the time. So I looked at this list, and later on that night, we're going to play, think about this, don't ask me why, it's Minnesota. We're playing cornhole in Minnesota in 10 below temperature. Okay, fine. So I looked at the list, and there's a guy that I'm teamed up with. His name is Jimmy Bass. I have no idea who Jimmy Bass is. So, as every smart coach would do, just like when we were looking up a recruit, I go to Google. So I said, let me figure this guy out. I want to figure out who Jimmy Bass is. And everybody said it. It's a guy who pops up on my screen. He's got white hair. He's a good-looking dude. I said, this dude looks good. So I said, all right, I'm a competitor. I got to make sure that I'm playing with another guy that's a competitor. So I look at it and I said, let me figure out, where he's from. And so I see Davidson. I said, all right, no football. Okay. I think the same thing. It's like, man, this guy's gonna be good. So later on that night, we get partnered up. I introduce myself, hey Jimmy, I'm Kevin Keats. And you say, hey, I'm Jimmy Bass. The other part I left out, I was like, he's from Dunn, so I know in Dunn they know how to play cornhole. So we're gonna be fun. So Jimmy and I don't even know who we got partnered up. And we go out there and, I'm a young brother from Lynchburg, Virginia. I don't play cornhole. I'm not gonna let Jimmy know that. I'm trying to get a job. So I take the first bag and I throw it. It goes way over. It's like, Jimmy, I'm a little cold. That's what's happening. It's cold out here. It's real cold. So he carries us, but we get our butts hit. I mean, we're one of the worst teams. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, I think we finished dead last. So throughout the day, I was thinking, man, maybe I can get a job in Delaware. Maybe I can get a job at College of Charleston. And when the night finished, I was like, there's no way I'm getting a job at UNCW where we play. So I didn't think anything of it. Jimmy and I stayed in contact and we kept a relationship. But I was like, we were going through, and I say we because every time I talk about UNCW, it's always going to be we and not I. And so I said, we were going through 9 years of tough, okay? It just wasn't working. And I said there was an opportunity to get a job. And I was like, man, a good buddy that I got my butt kicked with, cornhole, Jimmy Bass has a job. I didn't think there was no way in the world that Jimmy Bass would hire me. We both got our butts whooped. He needed somebody that could win. I wasn't able to show him that I was a winner that night. So I get lucky, and I get very fortunate. So Jimmy calls me and he says, I want to interview you. I said, great. When can it happen? We talked about it. I'm fortunate. We're playing in the NCAA. I think we were like in around the 16. And Jimmy does a good job. We asked Coach Patino, do we mind if I come up to UNCW and interview for this job? So I'm pumped. So I get here on the job, and I get a chance to meet with a lot of people. Still don't know if I'm Jimmy's guy. At that time, I know everything's gone now to search firms. Okay? But there was no search firm. It was Jimmy Bass. He was the guy that was going to make the hire at the time. So I have a chance. I meet with my good friend Carlton Fisher, and I walk in there, and man, what a good-looking dude! He got great sharp hair, and I say, man, those are big-time boots you got on. They were great shoes that he was wearing. And I was like, he started smiling, he started winking. I was like, he likes me. I'm gonna be okay. So I get a chance to meet with my other buddy, and all of these meetings that we go through, Jimmy Bass is in the meetings. He's controlling the meetings. He knows who he's gonna hire, but he won't tell me. He knows what's gonna happen. So I get a chance to meet with my good buddy, George Roundtree. And if you ever met with George Roundtree, you know that every question that he asks you, he's going to answer that question for you. And so George, Jimmy, and the committee, a few people were asking me questions, and they were talking about different stuff, and I would go to answer, and George would say, well, you got to give the coach what he needs in order to be successful. I was like, that's my guy right there. Like, George Roundtree is my guy. So I said, I got two. I got two of them on board. And I'm like, I don't know, Jimmy's sitting there, he's got this great poker face, he won't give me anything. He's just sitting there like, no, okay, you're impressing these guys, but what about me? So the last one, Dana Hurst. Where's Dana? Dana here? She's in the back. So Dana, I don't know what happened here. Dana, we meet, and Dana, just so you guys know, Dana is at NC State now. I love her with that. She controlled all of the money at NC State, all of the money. So the first thing Dana said to me, she had no question but one thing, is because I was coming from Louisville. She said to me, how are you going to do this with this budget that we have here? Man, I thought for probably felt like 30 minutes, but it probably was 20 seconds. It was like, Dana, I come from humble beginnings. I come from Harvard Military Academy. We're going to be able to do it. It doesn't matter. You tell me what type of money you have, and we will figure it out. And we did. And I'll tell you this now, that was the first time that Jimmy Bass gave any reaction. You know, he knew what we were up against. He knew what he wanted in a coach. He knew that we had to figure out together how to get UNCW back on track. And so at that point, I was like, you know what? Man, I done turned this thing around now. I'm not the cornhole coach that I used to be. We're going to be good. So Jimmy Bass gave me a tremendous opportunity. And I don't know that you guys know how much I appreciate him and his family for the opportunity that he gave me. And I say this is, getting head coaching jobs are really hard, extremely hard. I mean, there are a million people trying to get these jobs. I don't take the job that I have for granted at all. And I think the final thing that happened, Jimmy went back and forth. I'm sure he talked it over with Sarah. And Sarah probably gave him the blessing to hire me. But to be quite honest with you, Corey did it. And here's what happened. Jimmy don't know I know this. But Corey said to him, Dad, why don't you stop going back and forth? Just hire Kevin Keats. You know that's the guy that you want. Am I right, Corey? So, even though Jimmy's retired, Corey's my guy, just so you know. Georgia and I would love to thank the Bass family for inviting us to our family. We did it. And what I mean by we did it is, you know, we got the program back on track. And I don't say it as Kevin Keats got it back on track. It's everybody in here. It's Jimmy Bass for having the vision to do that. It's Wilma Daniels and a bunch of people in here that believed in the vision that Sarah and Jimmy had for this program. Okay? We will always, Jimmy, be grateful for the opportunity that you gave me and my family. We thank you. I hope that we can get you back to NC State because I'm a much better cornhole player than I ever was. And we deserve to get out in front of some people and play them again. You will always be my cornhole partner. And I appreciate you. And I thank you for the opportunity for what you provided, not just for me. It's dear to me that we keep the program going. And Jimmy, thank you for also giving Takeo Siddle the same opportunity that you gave me to be the head coach at UNCW. And we don't take it for granted. And I wish you the best in retirement. And man, have fun. I'm going to miss you because if I knew I had to fight the referees, I knew you would be right there with me. Last thing I will leave you with about Jimmy is Jimmy and I text pretty often. We wore the state jerseys. And just like every NC State fan, Tom Kaepernick will tell you, everybody wants us to wear those jerseys. And Jimmy texted me like, don't ever put those jerseys up, wear them all the time. And I said, Jimmy, I can't do that. They're not allowing me to do that part. So thank you, Jimmy. Thanks for everything that you've done for UNCW. Thanks for the opportunities you've given me and my family. I wish you and Sarah and Corey and the rest of the family all great luck in your retirement and enjoy it. Don't look back at it. You've done some great things and we appreciate all that you've done. Thank you.
Now, as many of you probably know, I work very closely with the men's basketball team here. When Coach Keats left, I was really sad. And I was even more sad that Georgette was there. Lovely lady, good to have you back here, Georgette. Coach, I got to figure something out here. Jimmy came back and said you guys never lost before. Now you're telling me you did. Okay. As a member of our senior staff here, I got to know our next speaker very well behind closed doors. Now I know what you're thinking. Stop that. She came over from the business side of the university and was instrumental in putting our financial resources on strong footing. She then returned to the business side briefly, or the dark side as we call it, and now she shares her talents with NC State, as Coach said, as Associate Vice Chancellor for Finance and University Trade. Welcome back, another former employee, Dana Harris.
So I was told I only had like 3 or 5 minutes to talk. That's before she used to all my time. So when I was asked to talk about Jimmy's retirement, it immediately went back to the day that we first met. It was in the fall of 2010. It was a meeting in the Chancellor's office, and the subject of the meeting was Department of Athletics internal audit findings. I think it was potentially his first week. It was definitely the first time that he and I met. We painfully went over too many findings. I actually started to feel sorry for him, and so did the Chancellor. I suspect Jimmy was wondering at the time, why didn't any of this come up during the interview process? So we fast forward a few months, and the Chancellor and CFO sort of voluntold me that I was going to have 6 months in the athletic department. And I suspect Jimmy was probably told that he was going to welcome/tolerate me on his leadership team. For the next 6 months, we worked hard on those darn findings. It actually took us like a year. And in that year, I realized that I really truly wanted to be a part of the athletic department. I will tell you this, UNCW Athletics is a family. We got things done. We persevered through a lot of tough times. We celebrated a lot of great times. At times we passionately disagreed, but we always ended up on the same page. We laughed, we sometimes cried, and at times we totally threw up our hands. But in the end, we were all on the same team, and we were all being led by Jimmy Bass. Over those 6 years, from 2013 to 2019, I had the privilege of calling Jimmy my boss. During that time, I learned he is dedicated, he is passionate, which sometimes presents itself as loud words and desk thumping. He is extremely family-centered. Between he and Rickles, they know everyone. He is humble, he is empathetic, he's empowering. His bark is really not real at all. And above all, he's kind. Jimmy, I will always be grateful that you welcomed me into your team. You blessed me with the opportunity to grow my career in a way that I never saw coming. I learned more about the inner workings of athletics, the importance of supporting our student athletes and our coaches, and I taught you not to spend $1 3 times. But most importantly, you gave me the opportunity to work with a great group of dedicated people, most of whom, like you, have dedicated their entire career to athletics. Jimmy and Sarah, you will be greatly missed. We will never forget how much you love UNCW and the awesome mark you put on it.
Thank you for getting us back on track, Dana. After the previous speaker. At this time, I'd like to invite Corey Bass to the podium for a few words, and we all know Corey's never a loss for words. Just please know I said a few words like that. Come on up, Corey, I know you've been waiting.
Thank you, Joe. I've been waiting 12 and a half years to have a microphone in front of some of the folks in this room. So it's about my chance, and there's not much y'all can do in about 45 minutes from now. So we're in good shape. Good evening. As I was preparing for tonight, I realized there are at least 2 people in this room, probably more, that are a bit anxious and on the edge of their seats for what I might say. I think there's probably even one who's waiting in great anticipation about what may come next. I've got a microphone, Tiffany says I have no time limit, and no one's read my remarks yet. However, since this is my dad's retirement celebration, I assure you both I'll try to be on my best behavior. That being said, Commissioner, if you and I could catch up on the referees that you send to buildings on Saturdays in CAA, when we're done, I appreciate it. There is one in particular that, well, never mind. I think this was rooted in my heart issues, that was that one guy, so we'll see. But in all seriousness, on behalf of my parents and our family, I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight as we celebrate my dad's 44 years in college athletics and my mom, who's been beside him every step of the way. I'd like to offer a sincere thank you to the Chancellor, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and Athletic Department for making this even possible. And I'd be remiss if I did not thank our family members and close friends. Each of you has been an integral part of this crazy journey, and we want you to know how grateful we are for your support. On a personal note, I'd like to offer a couple of very special thank yous. First, to Mary Ann, Easton, and Preston. Each of you has jumped head first into this crazy world we call sports. Pops is leading it, and for some reason I chose it. You've traveled all over, you've spent long hours in stadiums, arenas, and racetracks. You've ridden alongside us on the roller coaster of emotions this industry provides. You've been there to celebrate wins and to help pick us up after losses. You've never wavered in your support of our family, and you sacrificed a ton. For that, rah-rah Pops and I are grateful. Tiffany Tucker, on behalf of the entire Bass family, thank you. Thank you for your faith in Dad and his vision for UNCW athletics. Thank you for your relentless work and leadership in helping get the department where it is today. Most importantly, thank you for your friendship and being so good to Easton and Preston. You are always a part of the Bass family, and our doors are always open in Charlotte for you. I speak for all of us when I say that we can't wait to see where your journey as one of the strongest, most respected, successful, and influential young leaders in college athletics takes you. You will continue to make every I assure you, you will continue to make every university, conference, and community you serve better, and every administrator, coach, and person you've interacted with across the country knows that. Thank you. Following the final buzzer against Charleston at the tournament a couple weeks ago, I sat in the arena and began reflecting on my family's time in college athletics and how close we were to a storybook ending. A CAA title, a trip to the tournament, Dad and Takeo walking into the hotel with the trophy in their hands, and though some had already turned the page on his time at UNCW, it was Dad's moment. It was his moment with his coach, his team, and his time leading UNCW athletics was not quite finished. When it didn't work out the way we hoped, I struggled. I think Dad's retirement may be harder on me than it is on my parents. After a few minutes of thought, I walked up the stairs, saw Marianne and the boys, and after some fist bumps, hugs, and immediately being asked when we were going for dinner, everything got put back into perspective quickly. For 37 years, whether it was at a school Dad was working for or the one I was a part of, competition was our passion, and right or wrong, many times we let it define us. I think we're still trying to figure out what we're going to talk about moving forward. In fact, there's a rumor that my God-loving, prayerful mother may have already turned to profanity a few weeks ago as she and my dad were organizing their new garage. Dad's retirement has not even officially started, and I'm already trying to get him a job in motorsports. I've continued reflecting on Dad's run since DC and keep thinking of all the great times my family and I have been able to experience. 44 years, 6 schools, 10 different stops. Whether it be UNCW, NC State, East Carolina, Davidson, Pittsburgh, or Mississippi State, I can't express how proud I am of my parents for their tireless effort making an impact on the university communities they have served and the student athletes, staff, and coaches they have worked with. There have been many ups and downs, celebrations, tears, and though it may come as a surprise, there's even been an argument or two. When Dad took this job in 2010, he started his press conference by saying it's a great day to be a Seahawk. I know I'm biased, but I'm not sure many in this room understand the attention, focus, time, effort, and commitment he has put into elevating UNCW athletics as high as he could. Even as retirement is approached, there hasn't been a day where his energy hasn't been directed towards what was best for UNCW, despite oftentimes sacrificing personal time with family, on vacations, holidays, and during whatever the so-called off-season is. He made sure that even though there were challenges, every day truly was great to be a Seahawk. Serving as the second longest tenured athletic director in school history, Dad has worked under the leadership of 5 chancellors. He's faced multiple hurricanes, one of which practically destroyed their home. He even had to work his way through a global pandemic. Despite everything, he never flinched and remained steadfast in leading this department, its staff and coaches in graduating their student athletes, improving the student athlete experience, doubling the department's operating budget, winning conference championships, competing in and hosting NCAA tournaments, improving facilities, and breaking fundraising and season ticket records. Many of you know how close my dad and I are, and how often we talk. I can tell you, there has not been a day since November of 2010 that he hasn't looked every challenge this department has faced in the eye and tackled it head on. Also, quick side note, it's very easy for those who don't work in this industry to forget that administrators and coaches are human beings and have families. Each of us are involved in the day-to-day grind and the wins and losses of an athletic department. Social media, message boards, conversations overheard in stadiums, arenas, and hotels all make an impact whether it's realized or not. I commend my dad for never being fazed and tuning out the noise. I assure you though, I've heard him, I've read him, and I'm guilty of taking things more personally than I should have. He was always strengthened by the doubters though. During his time in Wilmington, the hard work and determination of Dad and his staff has led to some unbelievable memories. Dad was honored with the Cushman & Wakefield Athletic Director of the Year Award last summer in Vegas, as we previously discussed. He serves as the chair of the NCAA Division I Golf Committee. 2012, he was elected president of the Colonial Athletic Association. Competitively, UNCW won 32 conference championships. Those titles account for almost half of those won by the Seahawks since joining the CAA almost 40 years ago. Men's basketball has gone 51-19 the last 2 seasons. Takeo became the second coach in school history with back-to-back 20-win years. They advanced back to back-to-back conference championship games and won the 2022 Baja Mar Championship, CBI Championship, and CAA regular season championship. Men's basketball went 54-14 over a 2-year span under Kevin Keats. Kevin became the first coach in school history to push back-to-back 21 seasons. The team won back-to-back championships and advanced to the NCAA tournament to play Duke and Virginia. Had both teams on the ropes late too. They also received the first postseason berth in 10 years in Kevin's first season. Really quickly, and with all due respect to all the tremendous coaches and players that have played here, I often hear and read about the good old days of UNCW basketball and the hopes of returning to it. I know there are some great memories, but Dad, I hope you, Takeo, and Kevin take tremendous pride in knowing that moving forward, the good old days of UNCW basketball will be remembered as the days during your tenure when everyone knew UNCW would be competing for the league title. Trask Coliseum was the toughest place to visit the CAA, and no one wanted to see UNCW get on the bus to walk in their building. Additionally, softball won its first CAA championship. Mark Scaff led the baseball program to multiple CAA championships, including his last in 2019. I'm sorry, Lee and Jan, but they even eliminated 10th ranked East Carolina in the Greenville Regional in 2018. Women's soccer received its first at-large invitation to the NCAA tournament and beat South Carolina. Volleyball won its first CAA championship. Men's soccer hosted the first ever NCAA championship event on campus. Women's tennis won their first CAA title. Men's tennis earned its first at-large berth into the tournament as well. There have been multiple championships in men's and women's golf, swimming and diving, track and field. More importantly, there have been multiple academic achievements and tremendous impacts made throughout the Wilmington community. Everyone associated with UNCW should be proud. I debated whether to share some more recent personal funny memories about Dad's time in Wilmington. And since it's my parents' farewell, what the hell, why not? Mom, you might take some friendly fire again. There was a time in Charleston this basketball season when I got a call about 2.5 hours prior to tip-off. Dad had decided to take Mom to a vegan restaurant for dinner. Of all of the places in Charleston, every single one of them, he decided the vegan restaurant for 2 non-vegans was the one to go to. I believe they quickly had headed to the arena after a small salad and a glass of water, and without much conversation. About an hour prior to tip-off, I had, let's just say a few missed calls from Mom. When I finally got in touch with her, she was absolutely panicked that she was going to miss the game because she was stuck in my dad's car. A car had parked so closely there on the streets of Charleston that she couldn't get out. And in true Jimmy Bass fashion, he was so focused on the game, and I guess layup lines, that he couldn't feel his phone vibrate inside the arena. Well, for some reason, Mom decided that one of her closest friends in Wilmington, where I and Charlotte, 3 hours away, could help her. A source tells me she did a backward somersault over the center console and climbed out the driver's side head first. Takeo, I think you had to step out. Takeo, I should have called. I apologize. Because in the midst of these conversations, I should have called you and told you to go ahead and get on the bus. That night was not going to be pleasant. There was this year's trip to Campbell, where I'm 99% sure my mom got a technical foul. Paul took the blame for it. I'm still not sure. Kevin, she'll be there for you next season. Let me quickly remind everyone, and though there will probably be a few in here that disagree, I'm the least opinionated in the Bass family. I just happen to say what everyone else is thinking. There was a time Tommy Morrissey almost threw me out of the CAA tournament because he thought I cussed at him following an absolutely awful call. After halftime, he offered a half-hearted apology for the misunderstanding, and by the way, he said he missed the call. I assured him that if I was going to get ejected, I was going to get my money's worth. And not to mention that even at 35, if I had cussed at a referee, my mom would have had me escorted out of the building. Following home basketball games, win or lose, my folks and a group of friends would many times go to walk-offs. I was lucky enough to join when I was in town. I can tell you we'd sit there and laugh many times until we cried as we figured out the world's problems. Being able to see my parents put everything away for a while, relax and be themselves is a memory of mine that I won't forget. And though I consider it a memory, the more I think about it, the more I'm sure it'll continue. The monthly, if not weekly FaceTime to or from Tiffany, where the only thing said by either of us is, "What in the hell is wrong with him today?" Typically it's followed by a quick, "I'll call you back, let me figure it out." And somehow, Tiff, we always get it figured out. These are just a couple of recent things that made me smile, but I know there are many other fond memories of my family's time at UNCW that I've left out. More importantly, stories with lifelong friends that helped to make their time here great. I'm so thankful they called Wilmington home and can't wait to see many of you on the golf course or at the lake moving forward. In addition to the memories of UNCW, there have been some great times along the way for my dad and his other stops as well. The time we were able to spend with Coach Terry Holland in East Carolina. I know we all wish he could be here today. He'd be unbelievably proud. Coach was well ahead of his time, and you were able to learn and grow alongside one of the absolute best. The Peach Bowl during your first stint in East Carolina, the Gator Bowl against Notre Dame while you were at NC State, or the Hawaii Bowl against Boise State my senior year. There were conference championships in football at East Carolina. I think there was even a CAA basketball title too. I think you missed most of that tournament with a stomach bug, but you showed up for the championship and you were able to witness it. There have been multiple NCAA tournament appearances in a number of sports. A Sweet 16 run with Julius Hodge leading NC State basketball back to relevance. Advancing in the NCAA baseball tournament and getting so close to Omaha at NC State and East Carolina. We haven't been yet, but we're going to get there soon, and I look forward to experiencing it with you and the boys. You've even gotten to be a part of a couple Final Fours with NC State's men's and women's basketball teams. Hearing the stories about the journey to the national championship in 1983 with V, and of course Witt's so-called pass to Lorenzo Charles against Houston. I know you'll never forget those. There have even been a few stadium renovations and facility improvements along the way that you helped spearhead the campaigns for. It's really cool to walk back in those venues and tell the boys that their pops played a role in making them what they are today. Add memories like these to the relationships my parents have developed, and you can see why we have all been blessed to experience the best that college athletics has to offer. I know there are plenty of memories that I am missing that will stick with my mom and dad. It makes me unbelievably happy to know that most of those stories involve many of the people who room tonight. It's been great to celebrate Dad's professional accomplishments and some of the wonderful memories my parents have had over the last 44 years. Many of you know Dad professionally. As we know, he has his quirks. He is stubborn, and if you would just listen to the rest of us, everything else would be okay. There are also a large number of folks here tonight that call him friend. You've got to see a different side of him, one that relaxes and enjoys getting away from the craziness that is college athletics. Very few in here, however, got to see him as Dad, and more recently Pops. You haven't had the chance to see him take time out of his schedule to be at my school events and games. There's only one game I ever remember him missing, and it was against our rivals at Cardinal Gibbons. He had an event. I think they were kicking off the goal line drive kick campaign that night. But damn if there wasn't a Go Ravens sign hanging off the balcony of the Wolfpack Club offices when we got there to the stadium. You haven't had the chance to see him help pick my teammates and me up after we lost back-to-back state championship games. You haven't had the chance to see him standing outside the locker room waiting for me after a bad snap on the extra point at Houston. That one still gets me. Luckily, the kicker missed the field goal. We were up by 2, but he missed the field goal to beat us at the end, so that's okay. But you haven't gotten the chance to see him celebrate as my team in East Carolina kicked game-winning field goals to beat North Carolina or Boise State, or when our teams that I was on the staff at Ball State coming off the field as we beat Indiana and South Florida. You haven't heard the phone conversations we've had literally every hour of the day and night, figuring out life and ways to try to make UNCW better. You haven't seen him enjoy an event that he wasn't working, a football game at NC State with the boys, and with the boys and me, or one where our guys are driving on race cars 180 miles per hour chasing the checkered flag. You haven't had the chance to see him at our wedding, the hospital rooms for the birth of our son, or at our house to help Mom with the boys while I was having my heart procedures. I'm the tough one in the group. You haven't been able to watch my boys grow up and love every minute they get to spend with them. You haven't been able to see the fierce loyalty and unconditional support that he showed my family and me over the past few years, oftentimes trying to keep us afloat. There's so much more. And Dad, to a fault, and despite some dumb decisions I've made along the way, has always believed in me, and I'll be forever grateful for that. People often ask why I'm so invested in UNCW athletics from afar. It's the very least I can do after everything that he's done for me. Really quickly, I feel awful for not including stories about my mom's support. Just know for every example I just gave about my relationship with my dad, multiplied by 1,000, and that's what all she's invested in us. She's the rock of the family. She's been in every stadium, arena, and a racetrack or two as well. And the unconditional love she's shown us is immeasurable. I can promise you there have been times where she hasn't liked Dad and me very much. But she has always loved us. And I know I speak for Dad in saying thank you to her for everything. Ironically enough, our pastor in Charlotte is celebrating his retirement this weekend as well. He's been an extremely influential member of our family's life in Charlotte, and as he was giving his going away message last Sunday, he left our congregation with 3 important points that I thought would be pertinent as we finish up here tonight and send my folks towards retirement. First, celebrate the past with Thanksgiving and choose to live grateful every day. We are all extremely blessed for the opportunities your career presented us. The people, the memories, the doors that have opened, and even the ones that have closed. As you and Mom enjoy retirement, never forget how lucky we all have been, and take some time every day to live in the moment and be grateful for everything that the new day brings. Second, embrace the present. Be grateful for the past, but you can't live in it. Focus on the road ahead, not what's in the rearview mirror. Always know the foundation that you laid at UNCW is rock solid, and will be one that will always be remembered and appreciated. You left it a lot better than you found it. Over the last 12 and a half years, and even up to the very end a couple of weeks ago as the basketball team advanced, you never cared who got the credit. You never saw a photo op or a social media clip. You had no desire for attention or to be patted on the back each night in the hotel as everyone celebrated. I can guarantee you that those that come after you will be blessed by your selflessness, along with the blood, sweat, and tears you put into building this program. You fought the good fight, but now it's time to move forward. I'm excited for you to look ahead to some of the greatest challenges you have ever faced. And no offense, Chancellor, but you're getting ready to help me coach the boys throughout the year from sport to sport. And you've never had a tougher boss than I'll be. Hopefully you'll find a golf swing and maybe even a set of clubs that will help you shoot even par. I really hope you don't get lost on Lake Norman, because I'm not sure we'll be able to find you. And most importantly, somehow we got to make sure Mom doesn't lose her mind from being around you 24/7. We've started well. Pastor Farrell also said to anticipate the future with great expectations. As great as everything has been over the last 12 and a half years, I can't tell you how excited we are for what's ahead, and we hope you and Mom are as well. For you both to have your health, be able to see the boys grow, and continue to play a large role in our lives is something we're extremely lucky to have. Though I know we don't know exactly what lies ahead, I do know that God has a plan for our good, and the best is yet to come. In closing, Theodore Roosevelt said it best. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Mom and Dad, thank you. You showed up inside the arena every day and never backed down for 44 years. I can't tell you how proud of you we are, how grateful we are for you, and how excited we are for your next chapter. Congratulations on the unbelievable run.
Thank you, Corey, for those very heartfelt words. You can see that you can feel the passion in his voice, and that passion definitely came from Jimmy and Sarah. Jimmy, you and Sarah, please come up to the podium now for a few special presentations. Come on up, Sarah. As most of you know, Jimmy's made several stops, as mentioned tonight, during his long, successful career in college athletics. Over the course of the last few months, the leadership team in the department has gathered these gifts from other departments. They've sent gifts and mementos as a thank you to Jimmy and his family for their lasting contributions. Members of the UNCW Athletics Management Team would like to present these gifts at this time from UNCW. East Carolina.
East Carolina, NC State, and this is for the ball retriever.
NC State, I think Rob mentioned that, Mississippi State, and Pitt. There's some other items here. You guys want to share everybody? Hi, Cherry.
This does replace the no button.
So I'm not sure whether Sarah was trying to downsize, but I think she's going to have to upsize again to get all this stuff in. So we'll help you take it out. Just a few things that got it. Good. Please welcome Dr. Shannon Pease, Director of Student Athlete Academic Support Services, for a special announcement.
Congratulations, Judy, on your retirement. You've made a lasting impact on the whole department and the student athletes. Because of that, we have decided to name the Most Outstanding Team Award that we present every year at our Stanley Awards, the Jimmy Bass Most Outstanding Team Award. So we hope that you come back each spring and present the award to the deserving team.
Jimmy, he says he has a perfect bracket at this point. I don't believe him. But we'd like to ask him to come up and actually step over and just say a few words now. Jimmy?
I promise you this is going to be very short. I'd like to thank Chancellor Milletti and Dr. Lowe for hosting this tonight. It's been very special. And again, thank you guys very much. Chef Ryan, where are you? One of my favorite guys on campus. Chef Ryan did a wonderful job at the events of the Chancellor's residence, at trustee meetings, and cabinet meetings, and I always beat him up about where the scholars are. He brought them. Thank you very much. But we appreciate everything. You've heard the common theme I think you've heard tonight, and everybody who's been up here, and many of those on the video, is family. Sarah and I started this adventure back in 1980 at Davidson, coming out of graduate school in Athens, Ohio, and every step of the way we have made friends, lifelong friends, and they're all part of our family. Everybody in this room tonight is part of our family. And on behalf of Sarah, the love of my life, and the one that Corey described very accurately as the rock in our family, the anchor of our family, we thank you for what you've done for our family. You've made our lives richer, and it's been just an absolute blessing along the way. I thank very much, particularly here at East Carolina, at UNCW, I stayed with Skip on the video, the coaches and the student athletes here. We've toiled for 12 years. We've established a standard. We really, really, really like to win championships here, but the most important thing is our student athletes getting a well-rounded education. It's earning a degree. It's getting ready for life after they leave Wilmington. Fortunately, unfortunately, a lot of them never leave Wilmington. They love being here. And but again, to our senior staff, Mark and Joe, and certainly Tiffany. Tiffany's very special. Y'all know that. I can't wait to see where she's going. She's got a lot of work to continue here at UNCW. I know that she'll continue to be a champion here at UNCW, but she is a very significant part of our family. But again, thank you so much for being here tonight. We love everybody here, and even before I forget Jerry, where are you, Jerry King? We talked about Jerry, the posse is back together one more time. That is meaningless to most of you, but during Corey's high school years and playing for state championships. Dean, I can still tell you that one year it hurts Jerry and me more that we lost the state championship than it does the kids who are outside out there playing. But that's okay. Jerry understands. Thank you, Barbara, you guys. But again, thank you for being here. Travel home safely. We love everybody here. Thank you. I do want to say one thing. Kevin talked about all the things. The reason Kevin got this job here is one word: Georgia.
I was taught a long time ago not to correct your boss, but it's not over, so please sit down. So I'd like to call on Chancellor Galletti once again for another special presentation.
Jimmy, I hope you feel the love in the room. Thank you so much for everything you've done, not just for yourself, but for all the students. When I came in, I was talking to Jimmy, and things were looking for athletic director and all those things. And I said, now, which chancellor doesn't like winning more championships? Me included. But what we agreed on is these are student athletes. As important as athletics is, not as important as winning is, but we are developing young men and women to be successful in their life. And that we should. Jimmy, from the whole Seahawk family, I hope you accept our token of appreciation for everything done. It is the one and only Seahawk.
Now I'd like to call on Mr. Morgan Jackson, a UNCW alum from the governor's office.
Yeah, I had to sneak in the back because I was afraid Tiffany and Jimmy to figure out what we were doing tonight. But first of all, as again, I'm Morgan Jackson, great UNCW alum, and like all of you, a fan and friend of Jimmy. Jimmy, you've done a phenomenal job at this alma mater, this wonderful university. The student athletes, the staff, the coaches, and everything over the years, the championships, but just the thousands and thousands of lives that you've impacted. It's so very special. And so tonight, I'd like to, I have the distinct pleasure to present Jimmy the highest honor that the state of North Carolina awards, which is the Order of the Longleaf Pine. Saying on behalf of Governor Roy Cooper, being a member of the awesome Longleaf Pine Society allows you to do a couple of different things. The first thing is you're an ambassador extraordinary for the state of North Carolina, which is pretty incredible. And when you're an ambassador extraordinary, it means you are allowed to give the following toast at anywhere people are gathered in the free world, including the 19th hole in every single course. Jimmy is going to play after this. So if you all would please raise your glasses and help me toast Jimmy. Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun does shine, where the wheat grows strong and the strong grow great. Here's down home, the Oakmore State.
I do want to say, this is very, very, very special. My good friend Bobby Purcell, I think, has one of these. And, one of the things that Chancellor Galletti, I'm a product of the University of North Carolina. I'm one of those sons and daughters that they try to keep the cost as practical as possible. And I encourage you, do everything you can to make this university system better. Everything you do every day. Let's help make UNCW better by helping make the University of North Carolina stronger. This is so special. This is one of the things professionally I've seen some of the young people get. It's just very special. I'm speechless. Thank you.
Morgan, thank you so much for that toast. But as we conclude tonight's celebration, I would like for everyone to please stand and raise your glasses one final time for our loyal son, Jimmy F. Bass. May your troubles be less, and may your blessings be more. And nothing but happiness come through your door. Jimmy, on behalf of everyone in this room and everyone that could not make it, we love you and we appreciate you. And we wish you and Sarah and the family the very best in your next. Thank you so much. To Jimmy.